Step-by-step exam solution. Okay, maths class, training you to excel. Subscribe to step-by-step exam solution. Like this video. Share the link of this video with your friends. Click for alert so that the next video will come to you. Please drop your comment to help me serve you better. Okay, maths class, present step-by-step exam solution to success. Number 1, pray. Number 2, plan. Number 3, prepare. Number 4, preview. Number 5, perform. Okay, maths class, present step-by-step exam solution to multiplication of 3 by 3 matrices. Multiplication of 3 by 3 matrices. In this video, we'll be looking at the following subtopics. Number 1, multiplication of a 3 by 3 matrices. Number 2, multiplication of a 3 by 2 or 2 by 3 matrix. And then we will try to establish, if time permits, the commutative law of matrix multiplication. The objective of our discussions are: number 1, we should be able to find the product of a 3 by 3 matrix, and then we should also be able to find the product of a 3 by 2 or 2 by 3 matrices. Then we should be able to carry out other matrix operations, which we have already done in video 1. This video 2 will focus on only 3 by 3 and 3 by 2 matrix multiplications. So we go to the video, to the presentation proper. Let's do some calculations and let's pick a question now. Two matrices A and B are given as, you can see the A and the B given. This is A and this is B. Then the question says find the product AB and then BA. So this is the question. I will do the first one, AB. Then I'll allow you to do the second one, BA. So that's how it's going to be. So now let's start. AB, meaning I'm going to multiply the first matrix by the second matrix. So now this is A. Then I'm going to multiply A by the matrix B. So that gives me AB. Now, how do we carry out this multiplication? Let's see how this can be done. To do this, already in the first video on multiplication, we talk about conformable matrices. Clearly, you can agree with me, these two matrices are conformable. They are 3 by 3, 3 by 3. So the number of columns in A is equal to the number of rows in B. So it's conformable. So now, the first row is going to multiply the first column to give us the element that will be in row 1, column 1. The first row, this, will multiply the first column to give us the element that will be in row 1, column 1. So now, how do we carry that out? In multiplying, the first element in this row will multiply the first element in this column. The second element in this row will multiply the second element in this column. The third element in this row will multiply the third element in this column. So that's how it's going to be. But for better arrangement, for help you to help you to understand, let's look at this. Then I have the first row. Then that column, I'm going to write that column as a row under this one. So I do that now. So I have this. So now, if I have that, I'm going to have the multiplication now. So now multiplying, like I said, the first one will multiply the first one, the second will multiply the second. So this multiply this will give me 10, 3, and 6. They're all positive. So that's what we are saying. The first element in the first row multiply the first element in the first column. The second element in the first row multiply the second element in the first column. The third element in the first row multiply the third element in the first column. So now we have this. So now when we do that, we sum everything. The answer will give us 19. So that means if I'm going to carry out this multiplication, the element that will be in position 1, 1. The element that will be in position 1, 1 will give me 19 as we have already calculated. That will give me 19 as we have done the calculation. Now, the same way we are going to get the next element. That means shifting to row 1 and shifting to column 1 and row 2, column 1. Now we have done row 1, column 1. Now we are shifting to row 2, column 1. As we have already mentioned, the order is that first to first, second to second, and third to third. So I have the first, then I have the second, then I'm going to multiply them. Now, multiplying them, remember we said that the first one will multiply the first one. This will multiply this to give us this. This will multiply this to give us this. And this will multiply this to give us this. Now, adding everything, the answer we're going to get will be 26. So we're going to write that 26 in the position of row 2, column 1. That's this position here. So we have that. So now, following the same principle and the same method, we can now find the element that will be in row 3, column 1. What would that be? What will be that element that will be in row 3, column 1? If you carry out the operation very well, following the principle we have done, you are going to get 11. But for the benefit of that, let me also show you that. Now, doing that, I'm going to have 1 is going to multiply 5. So 1 times 5 will give me 5. Then, having done that, 4 will multiply minus 1. That will give me minus 4. And then doing the same thing this way, 5 will multiply 2, giving me plus 10. Adding everything together, you are going to have 11. Adding everything together, you are going to have 11. So that's how we got that 11 in that answer there. So that's how we got that. So now the question is now, if you're asked to complete this multiplication, what are we going to do? Let's carry out that. So now I'm now going to move now. I've done for the first column of the product. Then we're now going to move row 1 multiply column 2. So let's do that now. Row 1 multiply column 2. Once again, can you try that? What will you get? So if you do the multiplication very well, you are going to see that the answer will be 4. How do we get that 4? So now, this element here, multiply this, give me minus 4. Now, minus 3 will multiply 3, giving me minus 9. And then 3 multiplies 3, giving me plus 9. Plus 9 will cancel minus 9, giving us the final answer as plus 3. So that's how we got, minus 4. That's how we got there, minus 4. So now the next one now is the element that will be in this position, row 2, column 2. How do we get it? So we're going to use row 2 to multiply column 2. So now that's row 2 going to multiply column 2. Now can you try that? What will you get if you carry out the multiplication correctly. If you try that, you see that the answer you get there will be 18. Once again, how do we arrive at that 18? Now, 6 multiply this will give me minus 12. That's first to first. 0 will multiply 3 to give me plus 0, second to second. And then minus 2 multiply 3 will give me minus 6. Now, minus 12 minus 6 will give me minus 18. So that means if that is the case, the answer we expect here we expect minus 18 at this position. So that gives us the answer in that position. Now, the next is to find the element that will be in row 3, column 2. So once again, we carry out that. We have row 2, column 2, row 3, column 3. So now, do that. Remember 1 to 1, 1 to minus 2, 4 to 3, and 5 to 15. If you do that, the answer you get will be 25, right? Yes, you get 25. So now we are going to carry out the next one. That means row 1, column 3. So now let's do that. Row 1, column 3. Now, if you carry out row 1, column 3, what are you going to get? So you are going to see that 2 will multiply 1 to give me 2. Minus 3 will multiply 4 will give me minus 12. And then 3 will multiply 1 to give me plus 3. So now, if you add everything, minus 12 plus 5 will give us minus 7. So minus 7. So that will be the answer we'll get if we do it very well. So therefore, the answer that we're going to have in this position will be minus 7. I've shown you how you will get that. So that gives us minus 7. Now, can you do the next one? Row 2, column 3. That means you are multiplying row 2 with column 3. So what will you get? The answer you get will be 4 if you have done it very well. Then we move to the last one, row 3, column 3. So what do you get there? The answer you get, as you can see, is 22. Of course, if you are wondering how do you get the 22, let me show you again. Now, we are going to say 1, the first element here, multiply 1 here, giving us answer 1. Then 4, multiply 4 here, giving us the answer plus 16. And then 5, multiply the last element in that column, giving us a plus 5. Now, if you add everything, you are going to get the answer as 22. That's how we get this 22 you are seeing here. Right? So that's the way to work that out. So we have 22. So therefore, the product AB will give us the elements you are seeing in this new matrix called AB, or using another letter to represent that. So now, before we go ahead, please subscribe, like this video, share the link of this video with your friends, click for alerts so that you will receive the next video. Now, BA, if you follow the same argument and every explanation, I don't need to go ahead and then do all the multiplication. You will still get another answer. So now, do you see? Now, B is written first. Now, if you follow the same process from what we have done, the answer you are going to get at the end of this multiplication is what I'm revealing now, believing that if you follow the same steps, you will get the correct answer. So you have these answers as I'm showing them now. So you have these answers as I'm showing them now. So that's what you are going to get. So now, with these answers, as I'm revealing them, if you have done them very well, you discover you get the same answer. Please look closely, because as a scientist and as a mathematician, you need to study by inspection. Look at these two answers. What do you think about the product AB and BA? Are they the same? Of course, you will notice that AB is not identical to BA. They are not the same. Here we say that the product of matrix multiplication is not commutative, meaning the arrangement of the matrices before multiplying matters a lot. The answer you get by putting A first is different from the answer you get by putting B first. So we now say matrix multiplication is not commutative. So please take note of that. Matrix multiplication is not commutative. So now we're going to move to the next slide to continue the presentation of the matrices. Now let's take another example. So now you have another 3 by 3 matrix. The question now says find the product xy, just like we did for AB, and then find the product yx. Comment on your answer just as we commented on the first answer. So now what should be your comment? So the first thing we need to do is to find xy. Now I'm going to do xy. Then remember, yx will be an assignment for you. So I have x and then I have y. So we have the two matrices. So now the product xy now, following the same thing we have said, the first row will multiply the first column. And you know the rule now. First to first, second to second, third to third. By that I mean, once again as a reminder, first to first, second to second, the third to third. So if you follow that order in carrying out the multiplication and then you add everything, then you are going to get the element that will be in the first, the element that will be in this position. Okay, so now just like I used the other method, so you can also equally use this method. Take this row you are seeing here. Do you see this column you are seeing here? Take it here, transform it and write it as a row so that you can multiply all the elements that are under each other. So now, having done that, so we're now going to carry out that. So now this will give me 3 times 2, 6, plus 4 times minus 4 times minus 1, that is 10. Then 5 times 4, that is 20. Now, if you do that, that's what you are going to get. That's what you're going to get. And then you multiply that out, you now get the answers that will be in that position. So now the answer that will be in that position will now give us 30. So now we have 30 as the answer. If you do that very well, you have discovered that your answer will be 30. So now we're going to move to the next one now to multiply row 2 by what? Column 1, meaning we're going to multiply this. Now let's do that. Row 2 multiplying column 1. Then again, once again, we have turned this to row here. So we can now multiply 3 by 3, minus 4 by 7, and 5 by 3. If you do that, that's what you're going to have. 3 times 3 plus 7 times minus 4 plus 3 times 5. Now, if you now do that, the addition will give you, that's what you are going to get. Then when you add all this together, 9 plus 15 will give us 24 minus 28. That will give us the final answer that will be in that row 2, column 1. So that answer will give us minus 4. Subscribe, like the video. share the link of this video with others, and click for the alert for the next video. So now we now go to row 3 against column 1. So now once again, following the same method, so we're now going to have this multiplying this multiplying this, and 5 multiplying 0. Then I'm going to have here the multiplication. Then you have minus 15 minus 4 minus 19 plus 0 minus 19. So that means the answer that will be here now will be minus 19. Minus 19. So now we're having done with the first column. We're going to move to the next column there, the second column now. And then for the second column, we're going to have row 2, row 1 multiplying column 2. Following the same method, turn this one to row at this point. So you have that becoming a row at that point. So now we're going to do the multiplication as we have done. So now 2 will multiply 1, minus 1 will multiply minus 3, and then 4 will multiply 2. If you do that, the answer you will get will be 13. But let's take it together for the benefit of doubt. So we are going to have this will give us 2, then this will give us a plus 3, and then this will give us a plus 8. Now, if you carry out that together, you are going to have 13 as the answer we have there. So the answer you will get after multiplying this will be what? 13. So that's how we got that 13. So the answer here will be 13. Now do the same thing here. That means row 2. Row 2 is going out to be multiplying column 2. Row 2 against column 2. So the answer you get for that multiplication will be here. So now, what do we get? If I carried out the multiplication very well, you have minus 12. Then we move to row 3, multiplying column 2. We carry out that very well. That means minus 5 times 1 is minus 5, plus 1 times minus 3, minus 3, 0 times 2. Then if you do that very well, from what I've already explained, of course, you know that the answer will be minus 8. Now, we move to the last column. Now, for the last column, we are going to multiply the first row, or the first row against the third column. If you do that very well, you have 0. Then you are going to now multiply again the second row with the third column. You are going to get 14. And then using the third row to multiply this third column, you are going to get 7 as the answer here. So now that will give us the product of x, y. That's the product of x, y. So now, having seen the answer for x, y, remember I said yx is an assignment for you. Please, yx is an assignment for you. Please, yx is an assignment for you. Then when you multiply ys, give us a comment. Is it commutative or not? So now we move to the last slide for the last phase of this presentation. Now we're going to see how to multiply 3 by 2 and 2 by 2 matrices. Once again, before we go into multiplying PQ, we need to find out whether this multiplication is conformable. Now, in the last video, I showed you how to carry out that. For this one, you have 2 rows, then you have 3 columns. So this is a 2 by 3 matrix. Now for the second one, you have 3 rows, and then you have 2 columns. So that is a 3 by 2 matrix. Now I told you that 2 matrices are conformable. Their product will exist if the middle numbers is identical. So the number of column here is equal to the number of rows here. That means they're identical. Then the dimension of the answer you get will be 2 by 2 matrix, because what is left here is 2 and what is left here is 2. So the answer we expect after this multiplication will be a 2 by 2 matrix. Can we now start the multiplication now? So now we have the solution. Then we have the dimension of that as I explained, and then I already have this the same. So that means it is conformable. So we can now say that the multiplication is possible. And then we're now going to start the multiplication. Then we're going to write the other one behind it. And then you know the rule for multiplication now. In the first video, we did something similar to this. So now the first row will multiply the first column. If we do that very well, like we said, that the dimension of the answer will be what? 2 by 2. So the element that will be in this position here, is obtained by multiplying this row and this column. That means first row, first column. The element that will be in this position will be multiplying this by this, and so on and so forth. So that's how we're going to carry that out. So now, if you do that very well, I'm running against time. So what you are going to have will be what we are going to see now, which you can cross-check and ensure that it's the same. So now what do you have? C11 will give us, if you do the multiplication very well, it will give us 4 multiplied by 1. That is 4 multiplied by 1 to give us this position. And then after that, minus 5 multiply 3 to give us this. And then finally 2 multiply 4 to give us this. Then if you add everything, you are going to have the answer as, if you do everything right, you are going to have the answer as minus 3. So now the same way we are going to get the element that to be in position, in this position 1, 2. That element in that position 1, 2, that means this position 1, 2 will give me C12 here. How do we get that C12? That means the first element in row 1 will multiply the first element in this, giving us 4 times 6. Then minus 5 will multiply minus 2, giving us this. And then 7 will multiply 2, giving us that to give us 24 plus 10 plus 4, giving us 38 as our answer. Now we have our answer as 38. We're going to write that 38 in that position 1, 2. Now following the same process and the same argument, so you can get the element that will be in position 2, 1. You can see it here 33. And then element in position 2, 2, which if you do it well, you are going to have minus 8. So therefore, the product PQ will give us this element that will be this matrix that will have in this element, minus 3, 38, 33, and minus 8. That brings us to the end of this presentation. Please subscribe, like the video, share the link of this video with your friends. Click for the next alert to receive the next video. Thank you for watching.